back to Bleacher Report. I am your host, TD from tdphinstalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Make sure you hit that fire button on your way in the room. We are live every Wednesday evening right here on Bleacher Report. Let your friends and family members know it as well. Listen, the Miami Dolphins year of optimism is here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it looks like we have a little bit of a camera lag here. Let's see if we can hurry up and figure that out. Let me get that straightened up. All right. Straighten this up. All right, cool. I think we should be good. Let's see here. All right, we should be good. Sorry about that. Looks like we're having a few bugs right now, but we'll figure it out as we go. But this is the year of optimism. You know, I was sitting back thinking to myself, you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse. It hasn't been crazy new news for the Miami Dolphins as of late. It's been the same old story. We need a secondary. Ramsey, can they trade him? Will they get a deal done with Jonnu? Zach Zeeler, can they give him some more money? And McDaniel and Greer, will they survive the year? That's been the conversation for 2 to 3 weeks now. And outside of that, nothing has changed. There hasn't been any true real developments or anything happening with the team other than the fact that Dolphin fans are a little fed up and they need something to shake in the right direction for the team. And when I thought about that, shake in the right direction, I start thinking about the last 3, 4, 5 years for the Dolphins. And, you know, one reality stood out to me, and that reality is we have had some of the worst fortune of any team. Like, when you really think about what we've been dealing with for the last several years, we have had terrible fortune. What do I mean by that? First of all, in the last 5 years, 4 out of those 5 years, our quarterback has gotten injured, and in some cases, multiple times in a season. Outside of that, you've had multiple guys on the D line go down, Chubb, Phillips. When things start to look like they might be on the up and up and we're on a run, then the offensive line has gotten banged up. Not to mention we've dealt with wide receivers who's been banged up too. Tyreek played a full season hurt. Waddle's seemed like he might have been limping since his rookie year. We have had a string of constant misfortune as a team. And if you're one of those individuals that love to play the odds, fortune has to strike eventually, right? Or am I just, or now I already know what some people are going to say, the burial grounds that the stadium is built on and things like that. But listen, you can't be that unfortunate this long. At some point, luck has to strike. Fortune has to strike. It has to, right? Right? You know, and I was sitting back thinking about that, man. You know, could there be a case where Tua stays healthy this year? Now, we all know Tua could stay healthy this year. The O-line could stay healthy this year. The D-line could stay healthy this year. You know, the secondary can show up. But the real question is, can all of those things happen at one time? The perfect formula, the perfect recipe, all in the same time. Can we keep in healthy O-line and a quarterback that's upright and healthy, playing his best version of himself, reaching a new ceiling? I took some time about an hour ago and I closed my eyes, and you don't have to, but try to do this, close your eyes, and I'm going to do it, and think about what does the optimistic version of the Miami Dolphins look like this year? And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm closing my eyes, visioning it. I'm just looking at a quarterback sitting in a pocket without a defender within 5 feet of him, and the O-line just handling their business. I'm looking at wide receivers with 8-yard separation all over the field. I'm looking at blocking tight ends. I'm looking at run lanes just, oh my gosh, like a freight truck can run through. I'm looking at a young secondary that's actually, I'm looking at some all pros in the secondary. Like, wow, Cam Smith? Really? I'm looking at Channing Tindall. Oh my gosh. They sat you on the bench this long and they've been missing out on how great you actually are. I'm looking at that D-line and Chop Robinson becoming an all-pro in his second year, Jaleb Phillips hitting the Pro Bowl, and Bradley Chubb having a solid season before he's on his way out. I'm sitting here looking at all of these things, and McDaniel just beating teams like we beat the Broncos. And in the Super Bowl, playing on the biggest stage for the ultimate goal. Now, I've been doing this long enough to know that some people are going to watch this and say, this guy has really lost his mind. This guy has, okay, he has definitely gone over the edge now. But I'm like, why can't we have good things in Miami? I'm calling for it now. This is the Miami Dolphins year of optimism. We have the people, but why can't things just click and work for us? And I see people in the chat now saying, and then you woke up. Oh my gosh, this is the most vivid visualization of the 2025 Bills. Oh, wow. All I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, why can't we have nice things? People need to come to realize that the Miami Dolphins have gone over 25 years now without a playoff win. Without a playoff win. That is terrible, and especially for a fan base that's just hungry for it. A fan base that's starving for it. We need this. And the scariest part is when you look at the roster makeup, McDaniel on a hot seat, it makes you feel like, hey, it's actually even going to be harder now to accomplish that. And I find myself battling as a fan saying, Miami Dolphins year of optimism. Can I even be optimistic? Y'all, let me know in the chat. Are you optimistic about this season? Do you have good vibes about this season? Do you feel good about this season? Is there something about it that makes you oddly say, this might be it? It's hard for me to find that place, but I'm a fan through and through, and I'm just begging myself, have optimism on the season, because we've tried this so many different ways and it hasn't worked. And the reason it hasn't worked, there are self-inflicted reasons, but I'll say this. Some of it has been bad fortune. And we need fortune to be on our side with execution. And maybe the Dolphins can do something special this year. Because I don't understand why teams like the Buffalo Bills, they don't have a receiving core. Their secondary got younger. They replaced all the Pro Bowl veterans and stuff. And you think to yourself, oh man, you can't be optimistic about this. You get this pessimism all the way. And they still have the season that they had going to an AFC Championship game. Why is it that even in a season like that, they can leave their team feeling like they can have optimism no matter what? We need that in Miami. We're struggling. We're struggling. And I know there's a lot that the team has to work out right now. Jalen Ramsey, situation, Jonnu Smith, Zach Zeeler. Are we going to bring in additional corners? Jair Alexander, if we were able to keep him healthy at the price that he went to Baltimore for, would have been an amazing pickup for that price. But we lost out on even potentially even pursuing him because we were waiting on the Ramsey move. It's just as optimistic as I'm going to be, I'm going to try to be. It's like things around us are just still going wrong. But the old saying, you make your bed, you got to lay in it. And that's what the Dolphins have done. And for those in the chat right now, I wanted to ask your opinion. How would you grade the Miami Dolphins over the last 3 years with Mike McDaniel? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing and 1 being terrible, how would you grade the Miami Dolphins overall in the last 3 years under Mike McDaniel? Interesting piece to it all. And I found myself grading the team and saying to myself, man, we have been the epitome of a 6. We have been the epitome of a 6. And here's the caveat to being a 6. Even if you achieve 7 or 7.5, that's still not good enough. You need the 8, 9, 10 to really be a contender. See, the 7s and the 7.5s, they may win one playoff game and sprinkle a few good wins, but when it matters in the playoffs, after that first round, they don't even have a shot. We've been a 6, in my opinion, because we have had some level of success to win games, but the biggest knock on the Miami Dolphins, it's our inability to raise our level of play against the higher echelon teams of the league. Outside of Buffalo on occasions, but that's a division rival. Even the worst team in the league play their division rivals tough. That's why I never count Buffalo typically in the big time games. Unless the season's on the line. Hey, you got to beat them here. Like 5 years ago when we could have made the playoffs and we lost. We got obliterated in the last week of the season. So I'm going to try my best to be optimistic this year because I don't know what to expect. All you can do is go off of what they tell you, even though they've shown us their words hold zero weight over the last several years. They're telling us now it's a new culture. Guys are focused. We got a chance to do right this year. And when we say all we can do is go off of what they say, this is true, but they've done nothing but not been correct in their word. Year after year after year. But this year, man, it starts with all the players on the field. It definitely starts with Mike McDaniel, but it starts at the top with Tua Tagovailoa. Elevate your game this year. Play fearless. Take us to the promised land. Be your best version and make sure that version is one that we haven't even seen yet. We can't take this was Tua at his best. No, we need a new best. One that gives us a wow factor. One that makes us say, man, this, whoo. Second take. We need that from him. Number 2, we need leaders to be leaders. We need Tyreek to be in his role and do it the right way and not be a distraction. We need Zeeler to lead by example. Same with Jonnu. We need our leaders to lead. It's time for Austin Jackson to step up. Lead. It's that time. It's time for us to figure out this offensive line and get back to playing our best version to where we're protecting our quarterback and we're bringing the fight to the defensive line. We got to stop letting teams bring the fight to us Because if they bring the fight to us, they already got us mentally because they came for it. They came for war. We got to stop responding to people coming for war, and we need to bring the war to them. When we line up on the field, we need to bring it to them. Everything we got in that first quarter, hit them to where they can't bounce back. Then when you get in the second quarter and you hit them with all you got, show them you got even more. Show them you got any more. Go into halftime, lick your wounds, and say, I've never done it this long, but you know what? Third quarter, I'm willing to give it all for it. And you do that, you won't have to waste energy in the fourth. You won't have to give it all in the fourth. You already break their spirit. But we got to stop getting punched in the mouth in the first quarter. Then the second quarter, we doubting ourselves. Then the third quarter, we making business decisions. We got to be the aggressors. We got to be the bullies. That's the type of O-line you need. That's the type of D-line that you need. No let up. You get tired, get a fresh pair of legs in there. Because it's no let up. That's what we need. We need dogs who are hungry and ain't ate. Life depend on it. It's that simple. That's exactly what we need. If you don't beat the lion, you don't eat. We need to take down the Lions and not Detroit. All of them. You can't beat the lion, you do not eat. That's the mentality that this team needs. No more, team camaraderie. No. This isn't a time to play games. Mike McDaniel job on the line. No more friends. And certainly no new friends. We were friends, now it's about business. Because when I get fired, you probably ain't ever going to call me again anyway. So that's what it needs to be. From the head coach, no nonsense. No nonsense approach. You either do the job or we find somebody who will. And I hate it because this should have been the approach from day one. Now you don't have the luxury of, if they don't do the job, to find somebody who do, because you got to roll with what you got. It's that simple. We got to win this year, man. And you know what? What I realized? The whole schedule going to test you. I mean, literally, y'all, about 13 games, 14 games on our schedule is going to test us. I mean, and some of them that many people aren't even going to think is a test, is going to test you. Week 1 versus the Colts is a test. First of all, we're on the road. Second of all, they got a D-line, and you don't know what quarterback going to march out there. Should be a W, but it's a test of your will. And because a game like that, you mess around and lose like you do with Tennessee every year. Tennessee done had worse teams than the Colts right now, and they done beat us. You march out there and you lose week 1 versus the Colts, the whole team is shook. You can't afford to have this whole team shook. You got to chalk that up as an automatic dub. We got to go get it. Treat them like we're in the Super Bowl playing one of the best teams in the league. Give it all you got. Then you go into week 2, division rival, new and improved New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel, who has our number for some reason, knows exactly how to get at us on the X's and O's. Another test. There ain't no cupcake walks that people think that it's just going to be easy. Oh, we got them. We got them. These are, yeah, we should have them, but they're all tests. Week 3, you deal with Buffalo. Need I say more? Week 4, you got to deal with the Jets, another division rival with a real head coach now, a no-nonsense head coach now, one who knows how to orchestrate a good defense. That whole defense was hurt for the Lions last year and still produced. You mix that with Justin Fields making some mobile plays, don't mess around. Don't mess around. That'll be your downfall. The first 4 weeks are a test, y'all. Then I'm going to hit you with the gusto right now. Week 5 is a test versus the Carolina Panthers. First of all, you got to go on the road. Some of y'all may have not been paying attention to what Bryce Young did at the end of the year last year. It wasn't phenomenal, but their kid certainly was coming on. They got the O-line. They invested in some weapons. Don't make me, and you ain't losing to no Carolina, but it's a test. You on the road. Everything has its disadvantage on our schedule. Then you go back home versus the Chargers with Harbaugh. I'm telling you, this is what you call a balanced team. Only great team's going to be the Harbaugh-led team. They're going to play great defense. They're going to be efficient on offense. And they ain't gonna do nothing crazy, but they're going to be there with you the whole time. And don't let Harbaugh outcoach you and sneak in the victory at the end. That is a test. Only test I don't see is the Browns. And you never know. Maybe that's a quarterback change. And y'all remember last time we played the Colts, that guaranteed win, and they changed their quarterback for that game, and we lost. You remember that? And this is another thing. This is why a lot of these games where we say, oh, yeah, that's a win. Look at our last 3 years. All of these guaranteed wins, some of them we even lost. All of these are tests. Atlanta Falcons, they loaded that defense up. They got weapons. Michael Penix, by this game, he would have played maybe a full season worth of football now. And you're on the road, test. Ravens, no comment. Bills again, no comment. Commanders, no comment. They speak for themselves. That's more than a test. It's the final exam or the midterms because of the schedule. I'll put it like that. But those speak for itself. Now we finally reach a cupcake fresh off the bye, and I don't like that. I don't like that we have an easy game fresh off the bye. Give me one of the tough ones off the bye to get ready for it. But we got an easy game fresh off the bye versus the Saints. I ain't worrying about the Saints. Listen, we lose to them, pack it up. I'm not worried about the Saints. But I don't like having that easy game right off the bye. Because you don't want nobody to get hurt or nothing like that fresh off of a bye. I just don't like the placement. I wish we would have had that game in the regular flow of the season. But we'll take the tune-up. But then as soon as the Saints game is over, you're right back versus the Jets in the cold weather on the road. Division rival, test. Then again, you go right back on the road, Pittsburgh Steelers, Monday Night Football, primetime in the cold, test. Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin. This is to close your season, by the way. Then you got to go home and put up with a high-flying offense in the Cincinnati Bengals. Who win in that shootout? I don't know, but test. And then you got Baker and company, same thing, coming into your building. Who win in that shootout? Test. And last but not least, your final game of the season. On the road, Foxborough, cold, New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel, test. I was wrong. We got 16 tests, whether you want to acknowledge some of them or not. Whether you want to acknowledge some of them or not, 16 of our games are test-worthy, one way or another. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act, like we're not going to say, okay, the Colts, the Panthers, the Browns, and the Saints, those should, be win. Yeah, I get it. That's only 4 games on this schedule where it's like, come on, the Dolphins should take care of those. That's only 4 games. Only 4 games. Now, it's early on. We don't know, man. The best team on here could be the worst team in the league. We don't know. But based off of what we do know, tests. This is going to be a tough season. But what I do realize is if we come out of this season alive, then we are tested. And if we go to the playoffs with this schedule, we are tested. Because you know what? I can't look at this schedule and say to myself, oh, the only reason we won 11 games is because we only beat all the bad teams. I don't think I can see that happening. Because I don't see 11 bad team games in here. Even if I was to go far and be optimistic that some of them would be bad. Colts, New England twice, Carolina, Browns, Saints. Even if I said Jets twice, just hypothetically, that's only 8 possible scenarios. Because we are not going to sit here and act like the Bengals, whether they're good or bad, they are going to be tough. The Bucs are not going to fold. These teams will not fold with great coaches and systems. Pittsburgh not going to fold. Commanders, no. Buffalo twice, no. Ravens, no. Atlanta's not folding, but let's add them to it. That's 8. Chargers ain't folding under Harbaugh. And that's it. That's it. And that's being optimistic that some of these teams going to fold and some of them going to be much better this year. This is the schedule. We come out of this, we're ready. So I like the fact that we can prove to earn our way this time. Success means we earned it. 11 wins for the Miami Dolphins. You better be proud of this team this year. You better be proud. 11 wins mean you got at least 4 or 5 solid wins. Really good wins. But can we do it? Time always tells, ladies and gentlemen. That's why this Miami Dolphins year of optimism is here. It's the only thing we have. We have nothing else. All we have is optimism. And that's the only thing you can hold on to. Everything else is empty because this team has proven to be empty in what they've given us. All right. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to Bleacher Report once again. Next week, we should have more, hopefully, with the Ramsey trade. That's what we'll be waiting on. Outside of that, this is the down period. We'll give you all the breaking news, any sound bits or anything that comes out over the next several weeks. But we're getting closer and closer to the season, and I'm excited about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you all. Appreciate you all. Fins up no matter what. Again, I'm always saying, no matter what, okay? We've been through it all, the fails, the falls, all right? Like Niagara, all right? But listen, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. Optimism. Love y'all. I'll see you soon. Peace. I'm out.